significant visitors to the Halliwell Jones, and you recall the dreadful events of March 1993 when Warrington was the scene of an IRA bomb that cost the lives of 2 youngsters. Well, this weekend, members of the Crewe United football team based in Lisbon in Northern Ireland have been playing against Warrington Town for the Peace Cup, and you can see there the man with the chain of office is Alderman Paul Porter, who is the mayor of Lisbon, and he is seated just in front of Lord Hoyle there in the director's box. And the players of Crewe United plus a civic delegation have all come down here to watch Warrington Saints at the invitation of Councillor Mike Hannon, who is a former mayor of Warrington. And it really is an example of the friendship and the bridges that have been built between the people of Warrington and Lisbon since 1993. And we all hope that they will enjoy this, their first taste of live Super League. And what a game they have chosen to come and watch. St Helens with this outstanding record against Warrington, and they've not finished outside the top 2 since 2004. They topped 50 points at Wakefield last Sunday for the 5th time this year, and they've won all 10 of their meetings at Warrington's new ground since the Wolves moved in here in 2004, and they've just lost 1 of 36 against Warrington in 15 seasons since 1996. July last year they won here 40 points to 26. It was a respectable win for them. It was respectable for Warrington in March of this year as well. St Helens winning though by 28 points to 18. Well, I've pointed out the fact that 10 of the 12 Super League Grand Finals have featured teams that finished top and second after the weekly rounds. So a hugely significant night here for Adrian Morley and the Warrington players. They won at Wigan 2 weeks ago magnificently, but then they lost to bottom of the table Catalan Dragons last week in Perpignan, 28-29. And what a night for Lee Briers, of course, against the club where he originally made his name. He now stands second on Warrington's all-time points chart. Only the great Steve Hesford is ahead of him. And this is Lee Briers' 349th appearance for the Warrington Wolves. Well, the Warrington players standing in a huddle, and they will enter the fray together. And St Helens will be attacking the end behind which all their supporters are massed. A full house here at the Halliwell Jones for this sensational Saturday night match that will come to you in stunning high definition here on Sky Sports. James Graham, his 200th career appearance at Wakefield last week. Saints say this is just another match. It's a little bit more though for the Warrington Wolves. We're about to get underway, and the youngster Jamie Foster, what a night for him, gets the game in motion. Briers underneath it. Here comes Morley. There's the first tackle of the match. Steve-O, we've waited for this all week.
You're right, Eddie, and you can just feel the atmosphere, can't you? You know, Adrian Morley, when he took that ball, and that's a first penalty, when he took that ball, he nearly knocked his own player, Michael Monaghan, out. That was really high there by, I think it was Wilkin on the top there. This is it, look, he nearly knocked his own player out of the way. That's how eager that Morley wants to get into it. You can expect a big game from this big fella.
Here is Lee Briers in centre field. He finds Richie Myler. Myler gets it away to Louis Anderson. This is Ryan Atkins down the left-hand side. And Ryan Atkins...
Oh, he should have passed. They've given a penalty now for being offside. He allowed the advantage to Thierry Alibert. But boy, oh boy, on that left-hand side, it was wide open.
He's tackled him without the ball, Steve-O here. I think it's what the penalty is for. Myler. Have a look at Myler at the screen.
He should have gone, Atkins should have gone out towards his winger. That would have been a definite 4 points. Still plenty to go now, though.
Indeed so, 2 penalties early for Warrington. This is Matt King trying to go round Francis Melly. St Helens deal with the threat on that occasion. Well, it's been all Warrington for the first minute and a half. And here is Richie Mathers, who finds Briers, and Carvel will drive it forward. Another of the giant forwards for the Warrington Wolves. 10 metres away from the line. Monaghan at dummy half, gives it to Morley on the charge. And he's halted this time by Graham and company. Monaghan again, inching towards the line, Warrington. Back it comes to Breers. Short ball to King. Melly this time deals with the threat, and Matt King loses possession in it. Or is it a forward pass?
Either way, it's
a
bit
forward pass.
But look how Melly just wipes out Matt King. Well, I said in the build-up to this game that would be a lot of pressure on either side, and we have seen some collisions over the past couple of weeks. Been absolutely amazing. This is coming to the business end. You'd expect them to be tired, but these are true athletes.
Warrington, great start, looking to end this 9-year St Helens hoodoo. They've lost their last 20 against St Helens, and the Saints are unbeaten against Warrington in 27 League and Cup games, stretching back to 2001. But Warrington, they begin this match as the bookmakers' favourites this evening. Leon Price.
There'd have been even more favourites if Ryan Atkins had looked for his winger out there on that left side. Big error. Saints looking to get away with it. They were caught out wide.
This is Leon Price.
This is the type of game that you'll need Leon Price to be on top form. I expect a very... Oh, it's a great charge down.
Ben Westwood. Westwood with the charge down on Scott Moore. Wellens, captain for the night, to the rescue. And the tackle count is wiped clear.
Great experience, though, from Wellens. He just anticipates everything that's going to happen on this rugby league field. Tremendous stuff by the fullback.
That's a warning for every team that's going to play Warrington for the rest of this season. They are making it one of their key goals to charge down your kicks and put as much pressure as possible at the end of a set. They're getting more and more, and you'll see it more often here now, and eventually will have a significant influence on a big game.
Scott Moore once again for the Saints. Oh, the pass was poor, and Ryan Atkins has gobbled it up for Warrington. Tackled by Flannery on the deck.
Well, they're looking for the big second row of Matty Ashurst, but it was a very poor pass indeed.
Behind the man.
Yeah.
Warrington back in possession, midway inside the Saints half of the field. Westwood has had an outstanding season in Primrose yellow and blue.
Will the Wolves go the short blind side? No, they're going open.
With Monaghan. Monaghan fires the pass to Ben Harrison. Oh, that's
That's
forward.
forward. Not seen by the touch judge. Well, that appeared to drift away.
Atkins. And Louis Anderson is turned and dumped on his back on the last tackle. Now Hicks and King are calling for the kick to come out wide from Breers. He stabs it into the in-goal area, and Francis Melly gives it to Wellens, and Wellens does well.
Beautiful play. That is courage. Look at this. Melly said, yeah, you can have it. He had two all over him. Oh, look at the bang. Great offloads. Coming early, it looks like there's a problem. I think it's Westwood that's down. No, it's Monaghan, the hooker. He went in very awkward into that collision. Boys in trouble is Monaghan.
That would be a massive blow. Mick Potter, the St Helens coach, watching on as Leon Price humps the ball downfield. Mathers is after this and gets it. On his way to Castleford next year. Whoa! Have a look at these collisions here. This is red meat stuff.
Is it ever? Scott Moore, you just mentioned the fact he's on his way to Castleford next year. Well, he wasn't going on this occasion. He was going nowhere, but backwards, bang.
Here's Mathers again, chiming into the line. Down he goes on the third tackle. 40 metres away from the St Helens line with Monaghan. Here is Carvel. Carvel, who will be wanting to make amends for his performance at Wigan in the rail. Oh, he's lost the ball. Oh, it's been deemed to be a steal on Carvel.
It's a problem in it for the sport, Eddie, that, because the referee and everybody else has to guess what's happened there. He's made an instant guess, and it tends to be given as a penalty, as a ball steal, but I'm hoping maybe in the off-season we can find a better way of dealing with that.
Well, there was certainly a
penalty
hand
for Warrington.
Yeah, but there was certainly a lazy hand of Leon Price, and while ever you take that risk, touch judges perhaps giving a little bit of a help out there for the French referee.
Miles sees a gap almost through. Important tackle by Scott Moore. Adrian Morley comes in at dummy half, the Warrington skipper, and he'll give it left and find Mathers, but Mathers couldn't take the pass in. Well,
no
it's a
advantage.
start very, very similar to the game at Wigan for the Warrington Wolves.
Not the best from Adrian Morley, just drifting a little bit forward, and that's just They know that Saints are their bogey side.
Well, Saints are a team that can win big games, Steve-on. Phil mentioned a player at the start of the game, Leon Price, and I think he's going to have a big game if Saints are going to get something out of this. But there's another player I want to keep an eye on, and that's Scott Moore. Some great defence early on in the game. Want to see him stand up and start dictating with ball in hand.
St Helens' first penalty for markers not standing square from the referee Thierry Alibert.
And that is a
good
great
length on it too.
Oh, great kick downfield. Here
Here's
comes the
Roby.
big guys.
That's the ball away to Flannery. He will play the ball here to Roby again. Roby making ground forward. Ball bouncing and the players bouncing around all over the place. What an offload. Moore is clawed to the ground by Carvel. Here is Graham again, goes back that way. Gives it then to Flannery. This is Matty Ashurst. He's over for the try. Matty Ashurst for St Helens. Over for the first try. All Warrington pressure at the other end. St Helens come down, threaten the Warrington line for the first time on the back of their first penalty, and Matty Ashurst gets over for his fourth try of the campaign on this, his 40th St Helens appearance. Saints take the lead.
And it all came about by the knock-on of Mathers that got him in there, but look at the offload there. Wonderful stuff from Roby, but it was from this performance here, and Graham is involved, back on the inside. That wasn't a three-quarter, that was a big prop forward, doing all the best back on the inside, and Ashurst squeezes over. That's quality three-quarter stuff, never mind anything from a big prop forward. He's not just a battering ram these days, James Graham. No. He's constructive, and the inside pass has given this young fella the opportunity.
20 years of age, Matty Ashurst. James Graham, 24. And Warrington, after all that pressure, those 3 early penalties, they're now standing behind their own line as Jamie Foster, who just turned 20 on Tuesday. So hasn't Mick Potter done some great work with the youngsters at St Helens in 2010? He lines up this conversion attempt, the first one here. 7 from 9 against Wakefield last week on his first appearance in 5 weeks. And Foster has added the extras. St Helens lead 6-0.
It's all about changing the direction and putting the defence off. You can see how the Warrington on the right-hand side, they've already gone. But once it gets back on the inside, they're short on numbers. And it was finished well. Great stuff. Second effort from Ashurst.
Be interesting to look again, Eddie, why Ryan Atkins was on the open side of play. That he pushed up very quickly on James Graham and almost forced him to switch direction and go back down that short side. And then they were missing their left centre, but he's certainly not missed this tackle. He's got heavily involved here now from the kickoff.
2 players who are on the score sheet tonight, Ashurst and Foster, who we didn't know 12 months ago. And isn't it so encouraging that so many young players are coming to the fore in the Engage Super League this year? Each and every match we say, here's a candidate for Young Player of the Year. Here's a candidate for Young Player of the Year. And there's another, Sean McGuinness, the latest young rookie to come off the St Helens conveyor belt.
And I hope you're saying that for a long time, Eddie, because it has been a great season for that. And Graham, what about the pass again?
To Wellens. And Wellens attacking them, they're standing off him. It goes wide to Foster. Foster high-stepping, just short of the line. Riley and Mathers. Wellens knock on by Ben Harrison, but it's a try saver.
This ball from Paul Wellens is phenomenal. At full tilt to hit his winger like that, it's a phenomenal pass.
He did well though, didn't he? Ben Harrison, he knew they were short on numbers, but look at that, the dummy, the step, the offload. Wellens, he can see they've got him out wide. Beautiful stuff. Got to give a lot of credit though for Richie Mathers, got there, made sure he couldn't get to the line. But James Graham is running red hot.
Carvel just being treated in way down the other end of the field, and comes into the front row of the scrum. It's St Helens head and feed as a result of that knock on. Price finds Melly, left Breers on his backside. But then the tackle comes in from Matt King. Roby, Wilkin. Wilkin, who has a business here in Warrington and lives in the town. This is Graham. Back it comes to Price. Price then gets the pass away. Forward. Sean McGuinness on the end of it, but the pass from Price forward.
Just delayed a little bit too much. You could see
Leon Price shakes his head, and Darrell van der Velde, well, they're Warrington colours on his shirt, aren't they? Darrell van der Velde back on familiar territory in Warrington for a visit for the party that Bill was talking about before the game. The last man to coach Warrington to victory over St Helens 9 years ago.
Well, was he standing square? I'm not so sure, but Warrington again trying to get a quick play of the ball.
This is Harrison. Ben Harrison going up the middle.
It's always difficult as a coach. Tony Smith, he'll be wanting to get some more get some points on the board, shall I say. I'm just saying it's always difficult to break down this Saints defence. They played very tight in the early part of the tackle count, and then they spread on tackles 4 and 5.
That's Chris Hicks, who plays the ball to Monaghan. Now Morley finds Carvel. Great offload. Morley back to Mathers. Mathers, a stuttering little run, dabs the ball to the corner. Invitation for Riley to chase. Wellens is there, and Wellens is trapped in goal. Good chase by Ryan Atkins and by Louis Anderson.
Tremendous play by the fullback as well, running on the arc. But see it, as said, that St Helens had spread. Great option. Just put it in the open space. Make sure that you get it in the in-goal area. And I must say that both these sides, they're showing super fitness, aren't they?
They are. These statistics head-to-head won't make pretty reading for Warrington supporters at the bottom of your screen as Paul Wellens prepares the goal line dropout. Gets it to halfway on the bounce, finds Mathers. Here comes Morley. Got the spinnaker up as Morley. Wind behind him. Monaghan, Westwood. Down he goes. 20 metres away though. Matt King. Straight at Leon Price. McGuinness and Melly there.
13.5 minutes gone. We haven't seen a run from dummy half from Monaghan as yet. Quite happy to keep feeding it out.
Here is Mathers. They've got a man on the overlap. It's Chris Riley. That's good defence by Foster. Richie Mathers. Here is Harrison. Good defence. Bryn Hargreaves low down with Graham. Last tackle here for Warrington. It's with Myler. Now Breers. Breers a dab to the in-goal area. Aidy Gardner picks it up. Does well to get out of trouble.
Not only that, it's been around long enough as Aidy Gardner to anticipate the kick. They know the wiles of this wonderful standoff Lee Breers. It was a beautiful position kick, wasn't it? Great tackle as well.
And very well dealt with by Aidy Gardner.
Yeah. Roby himself into a good position.
Roby gets away from Anderson, stumbles then under the pressure from Adrian Morley. Kieran Cunningham waiting to come on. He's missed the last 4. Not a bad man to have on your bench, is he, to come on after 15-20 minutes?
How strong is this guy who's going to pick up the ball, James Roby? He's just shrugged Louis Anderson off, one of the toughest players in Super League.
Great offload from Graham. He's on fire, James Graham. And there's Roby, he goes down this time.
Well, the one thing about James Graham, he confuses the defences. You don't know whether he's going to run, whether he's going to charge, whether he's going to sidestep, or if he's going to offload. He's been so creative, though, so far. That's a bit too strong.
It is. It was strong from the boot of Wilkin.
He has to wait until all his side get back over the 20. That is fine now.
Here comes Chris Riley, 80th start for Warrington, 22 tries this year for Chris Riley. Morley.
Boy, the work that Morley is getting through, and Mick Potter realises that they've got to keep their defence strong.
This is Mathers. Yeah, we saw Mick Potter there. He doesn't deserve to be the only St Helens coach of the summer era not to win a trophy. But unless he wins the Cup or the Super League this year, he would go to Bradford in 2011 with that unwanted record against his name. Breers' pass is to the touch judge. They'd all overrun him.
Well, complete lack of communication. I think Breers was anticipating that someone was coming on the second phase, but they all went on the first. Look, it's one thing utilising a dummy runner, but you've got to make sure that there's someone on that second phase coming a split second later. He knows he's not one of the guys that you have to sort of have a bit of a natter with. Just a little nod, and he'll acknowledge it.
That solitary Super League win against St Helens for Warrington at Wilderspool under Darrell van der Velde, April 2001, 56-22. The Saints were a week away from a Challenge Cup final, so a bit under strength. And then they lost Paul Newlove, who was sent off for a high tackle on Toa Koe Love. Here we are, just a week away from these two sides' involvement in the Challenge Cup semi-final this year. There he is, the coach, who he plotted that victory. This is Graham for St Helens.
Something else now for Warrington to contend with, Eddie. They brought big Pullatua on.
Roby gets the pass away to Wellens. Here's Pullatua. Steps out of Mathers' challenge almost. Mathers did well. Last tackle, Price will go down the short side. Fires the pass over the top. Foster in the corner for St Helens. It was flicked by a Warrington hand, and Jamie Foster over in the corner for St Helens, their second try. Man of the match against Wigan in the win on the 20th of June, Jamie Foster. A try and 2 goals in that victory. He's got a try and 1 goal here, and a kick to come. And St Helens lead 10-0 after all this Warrington pressure.
They don't come much better than this try. The offload to Wellens. He knew exactly what James Roby were going to do. And the man that just come on Pullatua. Mathers did well, but Price took full advantage. No one at home. It was a high pass, but Foster was equal to it. Brilliant play. Great finish. But the build-up was nothing short of sensational.
Black ballet, wasn't it, there? He just rose in the air and took the ball in one movement.
They have been losing sleep about this match all week, the Warrington supporters. Every time they close their eyes, they have had a nightmare about St Helens. Well, Foster has given himself a very difficult angle to attack with this conversion attempt. And it's just gone in front of the posts. 10-0 Saints.
Running from the dummy half, take full advantage, and that is what Leon Price has done. Foster finishes off with a plum.
Well, a triple interchange as we see Foster going back. He knows now there'll be 3 fresh Warrington players running at him. Tony Smith, the coach, has decided to bring Wood, Solomon and Clark all on at the same time.
Let's get an update on that from Bill.
Yeah, Clark, Wood, Solomona all on the field from the bench for Warrington. So Tony Smith may be thinking that perhaps this needs a little bit of a rev up. Michael Monaghan is one of those to come off, and we saw him go down with a bang early on. So whether it's related to that, Ben Harrison also has been spelled as well. So, and he'd had treatment. So maybe related to those incidents, I don't know. Monaghan looks like a blood injury.
John Clark making his 300th career appearance here tonight. He was just involved in that tackle, but it was Solomona who effected it on Roby. Moore gets it away to Price, and I must say Price looks full of it again. Here comes Chris Flannery. Can't get away though from Atkins. Referee shouts that he's held. Tackle stood up.
Good move as well by Mick Potter. He's allowing Leon Price to control things out there.
That's a great kick from Price.
It is.
Just too long though.
Doesn't matter. He knows that he can line up on the 30-metre line. He's a type of player, and Brian McLennan.
He faces the Saints next week in the Challenge Cup semi-final.
Obviously, he's going to turn up today. This is a game that a lot of people did not want to miss.
Well, he said he would come and watch the game live, and he'll go home and watch his recording of it on his Sky Plus box. You'll see plenty live in the ground, maybe a bit more than he sees on the TV from a coaching point of view, but he wanted to be here to see next week's rivals in the flesh. Westwood,
he lifted the arm, didn't he?
Yes, a forearm in the face of Wilkin then. John Clark, here's Paul Wood.
Just need to settle down a little bit to the Wolves. They haven't had much opportunity. Haven't been able to camp down and apply the pressure to Saints' defence.
Clark finds King.
Just get through some really good hard work. Use the likes of Wood and Morley.
Here's Breers though, and he finds Myler. Myler then to Solomona. Great ball from Solomona, but what a tackle on Mathers by Graham again. But then he messed it up. He's trying to get around him. He's furious with the referee, and that, I'm afraid, is not what we want to see.
And that is silly play by James Graham. He's jumping out of his box.
He's lucky if he doesn't get sin-binned here. I know I'm going sin-bin crazy, but descent like that.
Well, if he gets sin-binned and Carl Albert got away with that last night, I'm walking out here.
Well, he did all the hard work, didn't he? It was a tremendous tackle low down. And
he really gave the referee no option.
Yeah, you can't just abuse the referee, or even shout at a referee. You can request if you're the captain.
Clark. This time Graham is there again. This is Solomona. Solomona gets the ball away. Wood will score for Warrington. Well, the penalty given against James Graham, expensive. And Paul Wood with a try. He's come back after being left out of the trip to Perpignan. He heads the Wolves' charts for the most offloads and carries this year. That's only his second try of the campaign, but it puts Warrington back in the match, very much so.
But it all came about by a wonderful tackle, and then just see how he tries to turtle the fullback. Gets a penalty from this position. But what about the offload there from Solomona? Watch this. The build-up. He abuses the referee. They give the penalty. And he gets a ball out. Look, there's four men there. Wood says, I'll take full advantage. Good positioning by the Thierry Alibert, the referee. But this should have been closed down. They have the numbers. What an offload.
Well, James Graham is probably fortunate it's only a 4-point try that he's conceded, which is about to be converted by Westwood into 6. Other referees might have reached the pocket, Phil.
I think if Thierry Alibert was given another chance to look at it again, he would have dismissed him. But it's interesting. We see Paul World benefiting from the offload from David Solomona. Earlier on in this game, we saw a penalty awarded for a stripping. Does he ground it? Just about with the left hand beforehand. Players put their hands on and around the ball, Eddie, when they're making a tackle because they're wary of an offload. Then when it comes free and the referee awards a penalty, that's the difficult issue I'm talking about.
Yes, you're right. It is difficult. It's very difficult for the referees to pick up, and it's very difficult for the players not to be tempted.
Well, they're trying to clamp the ball at times to prevent an offload.
Oh, well, they've escaped there of Warrington. Louis Anderson is... Well, he says it's gone backwards.
Oh, well, it goes through his legs forwards. That's a big error.
Initially, it probably went backwards, but he's lucky to get away with it.
Yep.
Here's Solomona.
Tremendous offload from this fella. That's a great advantage that Tony Smith knows he has in his ranks, that he can throw out a man of that caliber. Such a big unit, twists in the tackle. He's great at getting the ball away. One of the best in Super League.
Breers gives it to Wood, the try scorer. There's the Leon Price arm over the ball. Not standing square, though. Another Warrington penalty. Saints getting caned by the French referee. 6-1 in Warrington's favour, the penalty count.
Well, you can see there that Leon Price just moved a little bit to the left. That all comes about by a quick play of the ball. It's more pressure here.
This is Matt King. John Clark waits at dummy half for Warrington. Fires the pass to Ben Westwood. He gives it to Morley. Morley bounced off that challenge. Wants to play the ball quickly. Does eventually to Clark. He finds Breers. This is Mathers. Mathers gets the ball away to Solomona. That's an important tackle. It was Roby again on the giant David Solomona. Myler just gets away from James Graham, and Foster is trapped in goal. They've got the repeat out of 6.
Good work by Richie Myler. He went here there and really got hit, but had the common sense to just spin around, go on the blind side, and then just put a little dink in. Good work though by Jamie Foster. Had it covered, but it's more pressure. This is super stuff, isn't it? Nice little dink with the left boot. Oh, what a great game this is.
St Helens are going to have to start getting some more numbers out onto their right edge defence. Warrington seem to be setting up on St Helens' left, and then for the big shot, the big spread out wide, and St Helens at times getting cut for numbers.
Here's Chris Riley catching the dropout on the fly. Pulatuya hits him, but he got up. He bounced straight back on his feet and made about 10 metres more forward. Here's Cunningham. He's on the field. He really has been the catalyst for St Helens over so many years. Morley, another good run. Now Clark finds Wood. Wood takes the responsibility himself. This all, and gets the ball away to Clark brilliantly. Clark tries for John Clark. What an offload it was from the man who has made the most offloads for Warrington this year. John Clark benefiting, but Paul Wood, the offload supreme. The referee wants a word. They're asking about a knock-on in that play.
Not only that, I think they're a little bit disappointed. They thought that the tackle had been affected. It did take a long time. It appeared perhaps, and that's what St Helens are also a little bit worried about. They've had a little bit of a natter with Thierry Alibert. It all came about from beautiful work by Myler, dinks it in, good work by Foster, but it was the dropout eventually, applying the pressure. Now this is the moment, they get to him. Is he held? They seem to think so, and then he just spins and gets out. They got caught napping. Mr. Clark said, I'll take it. They'll take the lead, surely. It's bang in front. How on earth did they get it out? Deja vu. 2 tries, 2 offloads.
And a few seconds ago, Westwood adds the extras. Warrington hit the front 12-10, and 2 of Tony Smith's 3 substitutes scoring tries in a 3-minute spell. John Clark's try. Tony Smith sent 3 out, withdrew 3 after a shaky start, and Warrington are in front for the first time. Here comes Morley.
Well, it was a tremendous start by the Saints, wasn't it? It had left Warrington rocking, but full credit to them. They've dug deep, good, solid, hard work, and 2 tries come about by just that second effort of spinning and releasing the ball, getting the offload on.
Westwood gets the offload away again. This is Clark again. He gets away from Melly, but can't get away from Gardner. It's an outstanding match, this. Swinging one way and then the other. Another offload from Hicks. Finds King. Good run from Matt King.
Well, it was a magical 14 minutes, wasn't it, by Saints? Now it's completely changed around. It's the Wolves that are producing all the skill factor.
That's the last tackle this set of 6 for Warrington.
Surely it's going to be a high bomb. We haven't seen one yet.
Breers, no, goes for length again. Riley's after it. Wellens will have to deal with it, and does. Great chase by Richie Myler.
Wonderful ball and all tackle, wasn't it? Oh, look at the hit there. Oh, you don't want to see one of those when you're walking down the street and walk into it. Bang!
Warrington with the scent of blood here. Oh, but the pressure is relieved with a penalty to St Helens.
Yeah, just hung around a little bit too long, didn't he? You can see that he put his arm over it, Louis Anderson. Well, this is a great relieving penalty for Saints. They were in a huge, huge hole.
6-2 the penalty count. Warrington, and Cunningham has lost the ball.
He's trying to claim that it was reefed away, but I think he tried to bump him off.
Oh, 1-on-1. Knock on, head and feet Saints.
Boy, it looked as though Richie Myler has dragged that ball away. Cunningham was looks in disbelief. They've got what they needed.
The Saints have lost 4 from 11 away games this year. This is Roby.
Forward.
Scott Moore.
That was forward. They've got away with it. Now the touch.
It's a penalty. It's another
offside.
penalty. He shouted markers, not standing square, and gives the penalty.
And again, you know, St. Helens, they're past masters of this. They make a break. As soon as they hit the ground, they fight to get up and catch the opposition.
Good spinning run from Paul Clough. Cunningham is there. Finds Graham. He pops it up to Scott Moore. Back it comes to Price. Price gets it away to Moore again. Good hit though. Great defence from Matt King. Wilkins at dummy half. Now it's Roby. Oh, Morley comes to Danny. Cunningham again. Short side. Wilkin trying to go through Westwood. Can't do so. Breers there as well. So was Clark. Cunningham will spread it to the middle and find Roby, who gives it to Price. To Wellens. Quick hands and too quick. Come up with it though. Riley was after the mistake from Flannery.
Good
no
pressure.
Mistake came.
Good pressure from the winger there. Riley knew there was going to swinging arm there by Anderson. Didn't contact.
Last tackle. Up it goes off the boot of Leon Price. Was he taken after the ball went? No. Breers has it.
Offside. What a knock on anyway. This will be a head and feed to Saints.
Oh, it is.
Well, it was the first high bomb that we've seen in this game. Just over half an hour, and it was a classic, wasn't it? Gardner applies the pressure. Look how Breers actually went for him. I think he was in an offside position, Breers. Never mind, they're going to get possession.
Hicks with a knock on, a problem for Lee Breers. Referee just stops the clock.
Well, we've been treated to some good games recently, haven't we? This is right up there with it. Great defence for both sides. Nice sharp attack. Warrington doing very well to hold St. Helens out in that last set. They'll have to try and back it up now.
It's Melly. It's Francis Melly for St. Helens from the base of the scrum. They pushed Lee Breers into the scrum then. He actually didn't lock in, and Mick Potter barking the instructions out, but there was a massive hole on the right side of the Warrington defence, and Melly saw it, and he's over the line for the try. His 90th for St. Helens for Francis Melly. 6 tries now in his last 4 games, and Melly operating in the centres tonight, only the second time for the Saints.
High bomb from Price. Certainly comes off a Warrington player. Should have been a penalty. Either way, the scrum brings about the try. Short break, watch this. Sensational. Use the referee to full advantage. Look at Matt King. He has to go and take a little bit of a look at the referee before he makes the decision. But Francis Melly not only scores a try, just offers a little verbal at the moment he puts the ball down.
Tell you what, the players of both sides using a lot of breath to talk and shout and bark.
Well, it's one of those games, Eddie. I mean, as I said to you before the kickoff, we said in the studio, they'll be talking to each other and say, remember that result? You've only beaten us in what, I don't know how many years?
Foster's conversion is a cracker. 16-12 Saints.
What they will be trying to do, that conversation under the post, conceding a try off a scrum, especially down the short side, is very disappointing. So what they're trying to do is fix out, was Matt King too tight to the scrum, allowing Melly on his outside? You just have a look here. Matt King started very close to Lee Breers and give himself a little too much to do.
Well, the current vogue, isn't it, is to have more of your defenders on the open side, hoping that your back rows and halves can. But I'm amazed that it still maintains in fashion, because the number of times that the side with the two attackers to the one defender, one pure winger there, gain from it. I'm surprised that clubs and sides continue to go with that mode, Brian. Look, Matt King there.
Matt King far too close. There's no need for Matt King to defend that tight to the scrum. Give himself a little too much to do.
If he doesn't, he should be penalised, because there's a scrum half, Brian. He has to stand that close to the scrum.
Right, okay. Where was Lee Breers?
He was in the second row.
They shoved him in the scrum to pack down, but he didn't pack down properly.
Well, he should be penalised for not packing in, but that's a separate thing.
You're right then, if that's, yep. That should be a penalty then.
Well, look, we saw Leeds and Wigan last night. We've got Warrington Saints here this evening. And, well, what is it? 6 weeks to the playoffs? we've got the playoffs early.
Well, you laughed at me yesterday when I said that the grand final winners will come from the 4.
No, I didn't laugh at you, Steve. I just said you're dismissing everybody else.
You were laughing.
I think Hull and Huddersfield, Hull KR, Leeds, we've seen yesterday.
Put your money where?
Oh, don't tempt me. You owe me a fortune anyway. 5.5 minutes to half-time. A breathtakingly quick game.
And fully expected as well, because both sides, they're trying to get the tactics right. And it's just that the pressure of this game and the speed that it's being played. It's just that when you just come to a lack of concentration, and that's all it was at that scrum base, they just did not get their defence worked out correctly.
Well, St Helens know if they win here today, they are really in the hunt for second place again. Breers. Long kick, just a relieving kick really down centre field. But it will mean that
it's a beauty.
Foster has got to run it back from underneath his own sticks. Myler.
He's
lost it. Richie Myler's pinched it. Warrington's head and feet. I don't know why it's not play on, but obviously...
Well, I think he's admitting he made a mistake. He's blown his whistle. He recognises he's got this wrong, the referee. It should have been play on, Eddie.
Yeah, it's a straight steal, and it's an error.
Jamie Foster saying, he pinched it from me, sir. He pinched it, and he did. He was one-on-one. He's allowed to.
Oh, did it? Now then, interesting. Was there a stray hand just touched the thigh of Foster as the ball was... I know it's pedantic, but on that slow-mo replay, I think you might have seen it.
Here's Breers. This is King. Good defence from A.D. Gardner. Breers waits. Gives it to Westwood, who's lost it.
Golden opportunity. They nearly caught the St Helens defence out with a quick play of the ball. Westwood was steaming onto it.
So close.
Wasn't the best pass.
But Westwood's playing some of the best rugby league of his career, and he was so close to the equalising score there.
It would have been a proper
frustration,
pass.
I can't believe it.
And neither can Ben Westwood. All it needed was a good pass. He had to stoop down for it.
Well done, better.
Pulatua. Off the bench tonight. Substitute in each of the last 3. 2 tries as a substitute at Wakefield last week. Here's Paul Clough.
Second! Move!
It's his 120th St Helens appearance. Paul Clough, who played the ball to Cunningham, finds Roby. Roby bounces out of Wood's challenge, and then there's a couple more waiting, and one of them was Solomona, the other was Vinnie Anderson. Cunningham with a scampering run, finds Price, brilliant pass, Pulatua, behind the man. Westwood has it for Warrington.
It's a good job it wasn't the flyer that got hold of it, because if Chris Riley had jumped on that, it would have been try time.
Here comes Atkins.
There's still plenty of time now.
Ryan Atkins, ever present. He started each and every one of them this year in his first season at Warrington. Here he is again.
Will settle, go for another settler, another drive. Then maybe the switch onto that left-hand side on the blind.
Wood, well, wasn't the best pass. He had to stop, but then he finds Mathers. Still Mathers, gives it to King. There's a chance here. Oh! The pass was over the top of Chris Hicks.
Hicks had gone on the inside just at the moment that he was thinking about to offload. And Matt King knows it. Well, a few seconds before there, Westwood blew the opportunity, and he could see there that Hicks had just started to check.
Come on, guys.
Tony Smith realises 2 golden opportunities
Come on, guys.
have just frittered away.
Gents,
Boy.
Packing.
I need a rest.
You're all right. You're a minute and a half or thereabouts away from having one. Put your feet up then.
First move. Hold.
Roby's the dummy half for Saints, 10 metres from their own line. Here's Flannery.
Second. Play the
Ups.
ball.
Ooh, now then. That could have been a penalty.
Yep, he realised the mistake. What a great hands there. What great hands. We have seen some wonderful skill.
Move. Hold. Go.
Foster hangs on to that one, gives it to Cunningham. There's more.
4. Move, Daddy.
Good defence
Boys, come on.
from Clark again.
Hold. Go, well
It was
done.
on Jake Emmett.
Isn't it amazing, you know, every
Pulatua,
time.
what a ball!
Oh,
Roby.
fantastic.
Roby stands then takes the tackle.
Okay, now.
Here is Leon Price. Now it's Wilkin. Great defence. Sensational defence. And it was Matt King.
Came right out into the line, right into the face of Wilkin.
Stand there first.
30
rain
seconds to
is-
go. Rain coming down. We have the sunshine as well.
Isn't it
Somewhere
amazing?
over the rainbow.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got it back.
It's a knock on.
Knock on, I think, though, by Price.
Yeah. Well, they won't be rushing to do this. Warrington will try to set the scrum before, and Leon Price just takes it nice and steady.
Well, the kick from the scrum's the obvious thing that you'd think here from Warrington. It's long range rather than thinking. I have to imagine some of the sets players, but they have scored from it already this season. And Chris Riley loves to chase that kick downfield.
Come on, Davey.
Well, he's standing way back on the left-hand side is Riley.
Foster's gone back. He realises the intention from Warrington. Breers is going to take first receiver. It's got to be the kick, as Phil Clark suggested.
Breers with a crossfield kick looking for Riley and finds him. And Riley, was he tackled without the ball?
Yes, it should be a penalty.
It isn't. It is. It is. It's a penalty in the last second of this first half.
What quick thinking from Chris Riley. They've still got the opportunity. This will be a tap, surely, and then a high ball. I think it's a bit too far out to go for the 2 points. Look at this. Great work by Chris Riley. Knew that he was going down the cul-de-sac. There was plenty coming down, reversing into it. Surely tap and high kick.
Brilliant kick from Breers. He saw that Foster was standing deep. He gave it to Riley, who then took matters into his own hands. And the bench has called for two, apparently.
Well, they were just arguing, Eddie, the players, about exactly, Paul Wellens, where this kick should be taken from. The referee doesn't get the opportunity to see a replay like us, but it was where the ball bounces after Chris Riley has made that kick. It's just, I think, over the halfway line, so he's probably 1 or 2 metres further forward than what he should be, but it's still, nevertheless, a very difficult kick for Ben Westwood.
It is.
Who,
It's 45 metres away.
When these sides played earlier in the season, it was 4 tries all, and goal kicking separated the difference. Warrington only kicked 1 from 4, and Ben Westwood that night wasn't given a kick.
Well, he's had 2 from 2 so far. This, though, is, well, first of all, he's got to give it a thump, and then he's got to get it on target. Westwood loves the goal kicking, this fella. It's on its way. It's on its way. What a kick! Ben Westwood, the golden boot. Bang! Was never missing. Well, no wonder Lee Breers isn't given the job anymore. Ben Westwood, his 29th birthday last week, and Tony Smith is stern of face. His team are behind, but only just as they leave the field. And Westwood's kick, 45 metres and quite an angle, but he found the mark. A tremendous first half